Morning, guys. Good morning. It's Monday. Let's just get right into it. There's really no other way to start this podcast besides with the Ravens and what the hell happened yesterday. I'm not talking about Eddie Jackson and Kyle Hamilton and dropping interceptions. To me, that is a waste of time to talk about. With all due respect for the people that are focusing on that and do want to discuss it, that's a waste of time. What's there to talk about? He should have caught the ball. Sure. Yep. Should have caught the ball. Yep, should have caught the ball. Like five different times, they should have caught the ball. That's not why we lost yesterday. Lost yesterday for the same freaking reason we lost in the AFC Championship game. The arrogance at the head coaching spot and the offensive coordinating spot is ruining this Ravens team. You cannot get away from the running game. I don't know what lessons we need to learn. I thought we learned the lesson last year in the AFC Championship game, but we don't. He gets 5 carries, Derrick Henry, that is, in the first half. 11 total. Yes, it was 10 carries for 33 yards or 34 yards besides the one long run. That is the whole point. It wears them down. It's a one-score game the entire game. When you start dropping back and you throw the ball a million times, yeah, funny things happen, weird things happen, and Bateman loses the ball in the sun. And you let Cleveland hang around long enough, and weird things happen. Like it's mind-boggling to me when I listen to people after the game, and it's just like low-hanging fruit to say, well, the Kyle Hamilton should have called it and Eddie Jackson sucks. It's like, yeah, but that's not the point. Like, that's just not the point. The point is you have to run the football and control time of possession. You have to control time of possession. It's been like this ever since football's created. Most times, same thing in basketball. The team that gets the most shots usually wins. The team that has the ball for the most amount of time usually wins. If there's a really big discrepancy in time of possession, it is a huge advantage. A huge advantage. And when you have Derrick Henry and you have the ability to run the football and you just don't because it doesn't pop right away, it it is it yeah it's like they learned absolutely nothing. They learned absolutely nothing. The press conference after the game is even worse. When the Ravens lose, it is so frustrating because yeah, if you're just watching the rest of the league, you're like, we are the best team. Outside of Mahomes doing Mahomes things once in a while, we are the best team. We have the best players. We have so many different weapons, and yet I have an offensive coordinator who's trying to make headlines. I don't know what he's doing. He did the same thing last year. Run the football. Run the football. It's an attitude, it's an energy, it's the identity. And when you don't do that, random things happen. So yesterday was a random loss. Tucker misses a random field goal. We get beat on random big plays. Like when I say random, things like that just happen. It's football. Random things are going to happen. You control what you can control, which is we're gonna run the ball right down your throat. And if you stop it for 4 quarters, then congratulations. But they did not do that. We knocked out their best player in the first half. Like Henry literally knocks out JOK, the linebacker, who's an amazing player, knocks him out just by running him over. Like when you play Derrick Henry and the Ravens, you are not in a good mood. And as soon as Lamar starts running around throwing the ball, you're in a great mood. So now it's turned into a random game where random things happen. So frustrating watching that game yesterday. And I knew the first half, I knew it was going to be a sloppy game. I literally called the first half score. And whatever happens in the second half, it's been like this now since the Andy Dalton game in 2017, where Dalton beats us in the fourth quarter on like 4th and 11 or whatever the hell he was doing to knock us out of the playoffs. And the Bills send him some charity thing because it allowed the Bills into the playoffs. It's absurd what we're doing. It's absurd. It really is. It's just so frustrating. You look at this team and you're like, I didn't even lose any money on the game. This is why I can't bet on these games. I cannot bet on the Ravens. It will drive me insane. It already has. That's why I just won't do it anymore. Just from a fan standpoint, it's oh man, I'm done. I'm sure if anybody wants to, they can hear other people rant and ramble about the Ravens loss. But yeah, my focus is not on Eddie Jackson and Kyle Hamilton. I just feel like that's low hanging fruit. It's not worth my time to point out obvious things like they should have caught the ball. Yes, I'm sure they tried their best, but if we don't try our best with a game plan, that's where I get pissed off because Run the football. Run the football. And Lamar is so good that we actually have a chance, as he's running around there making things happen because the Browns defensive pass rush was really good. It was predictable that that game was going to play out that way if you didn't run the football. So whatever. We play the Broncos this week. Not spending too much time on the Broncos today, but they are in a good mood. They destroy the Panthers, and they were down 7-0 in that game. Then they come back and score what was it, 28-7. So they're going to come to Baltimore in a good mood. I'm not saying they're playing with, no, it was 28-14. I'm not saying they're playing with nothing to lose, but yeah, they got the rookie quarterback, and they're just going to kind of come out there with the underdog mentality. If the Ravens don't put it on them early, it'll be a fourth quarter game, and it'll be a 50-50 game. And that's just the reality of the Ravens right now. So Broncos destroy the Panthers. Let's go through the rest of the games because while I somehow went 3-2 yesterday, it didn't feel like that. Luckily, I didn't have two bets against the Eagles. Part of me was a little nervous it could turn into a shootout. I guess the Bengals forgot to play football in the second half. The Bengals go down the field. They're up 7-0 on, what was it, like a 9-minute drive to start the game. And I'm like, man, this is going to be perfect. Exactly what I expected. Then it's 10-3, and McPherson misses a field goal. And that was the end of it. They miss a field goal. The Eagles get a touchdown to score to tie the game right before the half. It's 10-10. And you got to give the Eagles defense credit. You got to just say you're wrong. When you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't think I'm wrong about the Eagles long term, but I certainly was wrong yesterday. They beat up on the Bengals. Bengals didn't have Higgins, was a late scratch. To be fair, that wouldn't have changed my bet anyway. So Bengals get shellacked by the Eagles. Whatever. I'm going to watch the Eagles play a few more weeks before I admit I'm actually wrong about them for the season. I think they certainly played well yesterday. I'll give them credit. And Barkley's been fantastic. And yeah, the Bengals just couldn't score enough points. You have to put pressure on the Eagles. And if you don't, and they get to play comfortable, things can happen. Now, I got to give Hurts credit. He made a really big play on third down on that drive right before the first half that I thought the Bengals were going to hold them to a field goal. If they did, it would have been 10-6. And I think it would have been a way different game. So wrong about that one. That's for damn sure. What's going on in Indianapolis? They have to put Flacco in the game. Like, forget it. Just forget it. If Anthony Richardson can play quarterback, maybe. If I'm Steichen, I'm just done with it. He was so bad yesterday. The Colts should have won the game. They cover. They should have won the game. He threw away an interception at the end of the first half for literally no reason. I blame Steichen for not just kneeling the ball, but again, there's 30-some seconds left. Maybe you think we can get to field goal range. Anthony Richardson was 2 for 15 in the first half, 10 for 32 for the game. Took off a play for being tired. I don't know if I've ever seen that before in the National Football League. He's running around, and it was second and forever. And he runs around for like a few yards and then drops to his knee and is exhausted on like 3rd and 15. So then Flacco comes in to hand the ball off. Oh my God. The Colts cover. They should have won. The Texans are playing the Jets this week. That's probably going to be my favorite game. Texans are at Jets on Thursday night because you're going to get favorable lines here because the Texans' metrics are terrible. They're finding ways to win, but they're not playing very well. Should have lost yesterday. Anthony Richardson's a disaster. He cannot throw the football. I thought he'd play free yesterday because they were underdogs, and it's against Stroud. He was good week one. They got to put Flacco in. It's not fair to the rest of the team. Everybody's got families. Everybody's trying to get paid, and Anthony Richardson is out here fucking everything up. He can't get the ball to anybody. He makes the offensive line look bad, makes the receivers look bad. He was the worst quarterback yesterday, and it wasn't even close. I mean, he's got a perfect body. He could probably do a million different things in this world. I don't know if playing quarterback is going to be one of them because he is so raw, and he was terrible yesterday. I mean, terrible. Colts should have won that game. Opposite of terrible is this Malik Willis character for the Packers. Jordan Love gets hurt. Jaguars go down and score a touchdown, and you're like, man, Packers are going to fall apart. Are the Jags the sneaky bad team who's going to win 2 in a row? It's like, nope, Malik Willis is good. What a difference. You just know when someone's a shitty person, and that's what I'm starting to think about Aaron Rodgers because everything is coming up roses for the Packers. Jordan Love, Malik Willis, they got Robert Saleh in there now, and the Packers seem fun. They're energetic. They're the same Packers they've been ever since I've been a kid. They're always good. They're always in a good mood, no controversy, and this jackass can't beat the Patriots. I mean, he is a walking nightmare. What a disaster of a game. I called it. I said the Patriots, they scored a little bit more points than I thought. I had the under with the Jets. So those are my two wins. Jaguars lose to the Packers, but they got 27 points. And the Jets were under 24 and a half. I still don't know why that was that high of a total. And the Jets suck. They just suck. There's no other way around it. Drake May gets hurt, and they lose to Jacoby Brissett. The defense has no identity. Yeah, you just carry on and on and on. If you're doing like leadership conferences, or you're trying to like show people how to run an organization, or anything involving some sort of management position, use this Jets team as the complete example of what not to do. The owner empowers the wrong person. The quarterback thinks way too highly of himself, and it has nothing to do. I don't have time to go into all my. No one cares, frankly, for me to go into all my political and social beliefs, but none of that is my beef with Aaron Rodgers at all. In fact, I give him a lot of credit for saying what he thinks out loud. Now, the campaigning about it is ridiculous, but that was never a problem. Doing the McAfee show once a week is never a problem. It's his lack of accountability when things go wrong. Like after the game yesterday, he's like, "Well, we got to score 30 to win the game." And it's like, what are you? Yeah, maybe if you would have scored more points in the other three games, you guys should have won. They don't play complimentary football. He's a joke. Texans are going to kick their ass this week. That's the Thursday night game. Patriots win. I don't know what to make of that for the Patriots, but they did win. So congratulations to them. This one I got wrong. I got this one wrong on the first or second play of the game. Bucks fumbled the ball. I'll tell you what, this Bates character, the safety, Jesse Bates for the Falcons, is unbelievable. Is he the best safety in football? If he's not, I want to know who he is. Who is, because he's forcing turnovers every game, every week. He's making plays. Just Falcons get a big win against Tampa. Tampa had a chance; they were coming back, but not enough juice on defense for the Bucks. Cousins was good again. Bucks just turned the ball over and they played from behind, and Cousins just has owned the Bucks. I thought they'd figure him out a little bit. Hasn't been. Falcons up and down, up and down, up and down. They win. Bucks lose. That should be a two-team race there for the NFC South. I still like the Bucks. Dolphins blew it. Nobody's probably paying attention to this game as everything else is happening at 1 o'clock. But the Cardinals win at Miami. Kyler Murray loves these 1 o'clock games on the road on the East Coast. Dolphins are up 27-18, and they somehow find a way to lose. It just doesn't seem like things are meant to be for Tua and the Dolphins this year. I don't know how they blew that game. Everything was going the way, I guess most people anticipated with the line, and Dolphins are scoring. And then next thing you know, they can't put the game away. If you cannot put the game away, it's the National Football League. Things can happen. Cardinals win. Really big win for the Cardinals. They feel like they're a playoff team. Dolphins, I don't know what they feel like they are. Dolphins have a lot of soul searching to do, because the whole identity of their team is like nothing now. Like they don't have an identity. They were supposed to be this dynamic offense, but they can't close games. They were bad against Buffalo earlier in the year when Tua was there. Can't score at the end against the Cardinals. Can't get first downs. Cardinals win the game 28-27. Best stat I think I saw of the day was that the Lions had 42 points at one point, and Goff had 8 pass attempts. I think the Lions, the only argument is they're peaking a little too early. You don't want to peak at Halloween or Thanksgiving. You want to peak months later. But you'll take a 52-14 shellacking. The Titans offense actually played pretty well. Just turnovers and special teams blunders. Lions are rolling. Feel bad for anybody that had the Titans yesterday. That was a really tough game, as you had no chance. They were winning too. They were up 7-0, I think. So Lions blow them out. Lions at Packers this week. Game of the week for sure. Can't wait to see that game. This one I got dead wrong. Jeez whiz. I figured the Seattle would be more competitive with Buffalo, but they just weren't. They could not. The headline in this game, if you didn't see it, is at the end of the first half. So it's 7-3. Seattle gets the interception. They got first and goal on the 7. They can't score, of course. And then Buffalo's going to go down the field and score. That's the way football works. So Seattle can't score. Buffalo's going down the field. They're not necessarily going to score until the Seahawks decide to get a roughing the passer, or they might get a field goal instead of a touchdown. So they get a roughing the passer, and then 2 players on the Seahawks are fighting each other, not for 30 seconds, not for 3 minutes. It would seem like for 10 minutes. Like they're just in each other's face, grabbing on the face mask. And the alarming part is that there wasn't 25 Seahawks players over there to break it up. Something is going on in Seattle because the identity is supposed to be on defense. They win 3 in a row to start the season. They made a trade last week. Josh Allen just carved them up, and Seattle had a chance. They're not playing winning football. They're up and down, up and down, up and down. Got that one wrong. Luckily, I didn't bet it, but I figured that the Bills wouldn't get to their total points, or I figured it'd be a tighter game. It just wasn't. So, not much else to say about it except Seattle is just not that good right this second. They're up and down, and when a team's doing that, yeah, maybe they sneak into the playoffs. I'm not sure, but super impressed with Buffalo. They're looking like a juggernaut. Great complementary football. The opposite of what the Ravens are doing. Score before the half, score on the first possession of the half, game over. Bills win. Saints, Chargers went about how we thought it would. Under. Didn't pull the trigger on the under bets. Didn't pull the trigger on any 4 o'clock bets. I was so emotional watching the Ravens game that I just decided to let it go. This one would have been a split for me because I had the Chargers. Excuse me, I had under, but I would have had the Saints to cover the 7.5 points. Chargers, yeah, they just play the way the Chargers are going to play. They're probably the most predictable team in football right now. They're going to run the football, control the clock, and beat up the bad teams. That's what they did. Chargers roll. Saints, they got to fire the coach. Like, I don't know if they're doing it this week or next week, but he won't be here next year. That's for sure. Saints lose. Very lethargic performance. Chiefs beat the Raiders in a game that, and then getting sick of breaking down the Chiefs, honestly. It's like saying whatever I said last week or the week before, or the week before that, or the week before that, just play it again, which is Chiefs find a way to win. They play complementary football the best. Like it is the Patriots, excuse me, all over again, where they just do everything the right way and put themselves in the position to win. They don't cover. So if you're betting on the Chiefs, you're constantly annoyed. But they beat the Raiders. And, wasn't that surprising. Hard fought game. Give the Raiders credit for keeping it close, but Chiefs beat them, and Chiefs are the only undefeated team. Talked about the Broncos for a moment there. Not much to go on. They beat the Panthers. Excuse me. I'll look forward to listening to Broncos media this week and figuring out what their game plan is against the Ravens because are they going to let Bo Nix cook? Are they going to spread them out? Broncos defense is no joke. So it's going to be a really good game next week, Ravens, Broncos. Looking forward to that. And then the last game, God, I feel bad for you if you bet the Bears. That's, God almighty, what a play. Jaden Daniels, something special is going on in Washington. You can't ignore it. When things like that happen, it's just like meant to be one of those seasons. Really good football game, defensive football game. And then Daniels throws the Hail Mary. There's not much else to say except when things are going your way, they're going your way. And they are for Washington. I was surprised he played. I thought that they weren't going to let him play. They let him play. He does that. The high that they're on in Washington right now is unmatched. I mean, they've had decades of the worst ownership. Now the Panthers are like, hold my beer. We got worse ownership than you've ever experienced. But yeah, Dan Snyder, Redskins teams, absolute joke. Now the Dan Quinn led Commanders are like the most good feel good story in football. Jaden Daniels, super easy to root for. They're playing great. Got to give Washington credit. They get the win yesterday. And, as we set up going into next week, Washington's going to get at Giants. I mean, that's another Giants are going to play tonight against Pittsburgh. It's a good spot for them. So Washington's rolling. Speaking of tonight, Steelers, Giants, and then I'll do Cowboys in a second. God, I hope the Giants win the game. I don't know how they're going to win the game. It feels like a lock to go with the under, but whenever it feels like a lock on a standalone game, that's always a little bit of a dicey situation, but it's only 36 points tonight. Giants getting 6 at Pittsburgh. Giants have the worst offensive line in football. Steelers have the best pass rush in football. That doesn't seem like a good recipe. Excuse me. I'll try to talk myself into the Giants later. Tonight, but I don't know. Maybe the game can go under, but the Giants feel like they're going to turn the ball over so many times that I don't want this score to be like 34-10 and it goes over. So it doesn't feel like a great spot for the Giants. Last night's game got the win and then got the push by buying the half a point. That's just a rule of thumb. If you're if you're 5.5 points, you always buy the half a point. 4.5, you don't have to stress out about it. A lot of games don't end in five. A lot of games end in six. Last night did end in six. So I get the push there, and the Cowboys get the overs. They get the garbage time touchdown. I'll take it. Again, Cowboys played good enough to win the first half, but coaching is where you can tell the separation in the second half. Shanahan made the adjustments. Dak, too many mistakes. Niners win. So that is that for all the games. There was no bye. So, yeah, there's a ton of games yesterday. Tonight, we get the Giants and the Squealers. And more exciting for me tonight is the Dodgers look to put this thing away. They're the underdog tonight. I don't understand that one. Bueller was great against the Mets. He only pitched 4 1/3 inning. He could have pitched longer in the NLCS in New York. So last time he pitched was what, a week ago in New York. So he's used to this spot. I think the Yankees are dead. They're going to throw out Schmidt tonight. He's never pitched in the World Series. Ohtani most likely will play. I don't think it matters. I like the Dodgers again. So I look forward to watching that game. And yeah, so 3-2 for the week. Overall record's pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Baseball's really helped out here, the baseball playoffs. So yeah, that's that. Just whatever. No more Ravens content for me for the rest of the day. I did hours last night, and then here I am this morning. And my takeaway was people are spending way too much time on Marcus Williams, Eddie Jackson, and Kyle Hamilton. The real focus or the real anger should be at the play calling. Because if they're going to if they're not going to make a change, we're just not going to get there. They got to run the football. They have to run the football. I don't understand exactly what's going on and why they get away from it. But as soon as we're losing, they just get away from it. Anyway. All right. Have a good day. I'll be here in the morning. Talk Dodgers, Yankees, and the Steelers, Giants. Good luck to whatever you're doing today. All right. See you guys. Have a good day.